Happy Thursday, everybody. Yeah, fun little day yesterday. We had some upsets. We had some wild games. We'll talk about that. But before we get into that, just remember to hit that subscribe button. All right, and give the video a thumbs up. All that good stuff. Let's get into the recap. Ended up down a little less than a unit. This should have been a pretty decent day. Astros just couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. Boston got that last run to go over the team total, thankfully. So that was nice. Royals ended up winning 3-0. Cleveland Yankees, that one was just an absolute Yankees rout. Let's see, White Sox Giants. So we ended up getting hosed on the Nerfy, which really sucks because it was highly juiced at minus 155 and it was up to like 170 by game time, I think. So we got really good closing line value on that. That would have hit. Obviously, the Reds went over their team total. Had the Giants, done what they were supposed to do, we would have cashed that as well. So it is what it is. The one that frustrated me the most was the fun parlay at plus 1,032. I thought we were dead in the water. Philly ended up coming back to win. The Reds had a hell of a comeback. Milwaukee's up 4-2 heading into the bottom of the ninth. We're feeling good. We're feeling good. The Dodgers are up at that point, so it's looking real good. And let's see, starts off by hitting a guy. Then I think he strikes a guy out. And then he proceeds to strike another person out or something like that, or walks a guy and then strikes it out. Either way, we've got 2 outs, 2 on. That's fine. Like second and third, 2 outs. All we got to do is just get the last out. Walks 2 in a row, so he walks in 1. So it's a 1-run game. Then they put in a relief pitcher, and I'll be damned if that dude didn't walk somebody. So they ended up walking freaking like 4 batters in the inning, 4 or 5 batters. I don't know. I think it was 4. Absolutely ridiculous. Then they come to the 10th, they can't score, and then Cardinals end up hitting a freaking grand slam to win it. It's like, what the hell? Just an absolute shit show there. Brewers should have won that one. We ended up going 9-6 on the teams. Let's see, Giants was that's gut wrenching. What the hell, man? They ended up giving up. It was 2-2 heading into the top of the ninth, and they gave up like 6 or 4 or something. I mean, just stupid number. Padres got absolutely smoked. Waldron had just one horrendously bad inning. I think it was the 4th inning. Cubs got smacked around. Red Sox beat the Astros, and the Pirates. I mean, that Pirates Rangers game, maybe the most boring game in the MLB this year. It was like 0-0 heading into the bottom of the ninth. So Rangers won 1-0. Pretty crazy day. In terms of our props, we ended up going looks like 3-4 on that one. Soto hit his in the first inning, hit a home run, so that was pretty sweat free. Let's see. Let's hop into. We'll look at tracking. So, like I said, down a little less than a unit. August sucks. All right, hot cold matchup. So, Patrick Corbin day. That's an interesting day. Got a couple of hitters that are hot against Freddie Peralta. A couple that are hot against Miles Mikolas. Cold batter matchups, a decent amount. 3 of the Guardians players are cold against Garrett Cole. 3 players cold against Freddie Peralta. And then we don't have any hot pitcher matchups today, but we do have 2 cold ones. So Patrick Corbin going up against the Rockies. Rockies are hitting 303 off of him with the current players on the roster. And then Miles Mikolas, the current Brewers players, are hitting 302 off of him. I love Miles Mikolas at home. All right, let's get into the first game on the card here. So Guardians at the Yankees, Garrett Cole and Gavin Williams going up against each other. Obviously, we know how yesterday went. Didn't go well for the Guardians. Kind of wanted to play Guardians money line today at plus 45. It's really appealing. But we've seen Garrett Cole just kind of get stronger and stronger every start. He's starting to return back to form. He's got a 4.65 home ERA. I don't look into that too much. A lot of early struggles that he's worked through. So I think he's really getting himself back into kind of game shape, so to speak. Gavin Williams kind of came out of the gates hot, and we've just seen regression. So he's given up 12 earned runs over his last 3 games. I don't like him in this spot. His pitch split's not amazing. Yeah, I love the Yankees here to score a lot of runs today. I think the Guardians will get theirs off of Garrett Cole. I think his earned run line is 1.5, which is really low. So I wouldn't be opposed to taking his over 1.5 earned runs. We've got an 8-mile-an-hour wind blowing out, 75 degrees, so it's really nice weather. Good day for scoring more runs. All right, Rockies at the Nats. Patrick Corbin going up against Cal Quantrill. If we look at the Rockies, they have been getting the left-handed starters over the last 4 games that they've faced a lefty. They've scored 12 earned runs. Patrick Corbin hasn't pitched against Colorado since 2021, so they don't have a lot of familiarity there. But if we look at Corbin, I mean, both these guys are terrible. They've got 5+ ERAs. So the over 9, I don't mind it. I think the wind blowing in slightly could impact that, but pitch splits look better for Corbin than they do for Quantrill. But I got to fade Patrick Corbin. This is literally the worst starting pitcher in baseball. So really hard for me to not take the Rockies here, especially coming off a game where they didn't look good yesterday, but the day before they absolutely stomped the Nats. So getaway day, crazy things happen. I like the Rockies to get the job done today against Corbin. One bet I really like, it's a little juice, but Colorado over 1.5 runs in the first 5 innings at -160. So you would need something to pair that up with, but that probably makes it onto my card at some point today. All right, next game, Brewers at the Cardinals. God, that was just brutal yesterday. Absolutely brutal. Freddie Peralta going up against Miles Mikolas. Mikolas just is not good at home. He does okay away. He's really bad at home. He's got a 6.5 ERA. He's given up 14 earned runs over his last 3 home starts. If we look at Freddie Peralta, he's been doing quite well. 4 earned runs in his last 3 starts versus St. Louis. 2 of those were actually in St. Louis. Yeah, 7K average against them, so he's pitched really well against the Cards. So I like them to bounce back and get a freaking win and not actually piss it away today. So pitch splits for Mikolas don't look great. Like I said, we're just kind of fading him at home. He's not been good, giving up about a 290 average. He's actually given up same average to lefties and righties, so 286 both ways. So the Brewers should be able to get some runs off of him. I don't like that the wind's blowing in, but that's okay. It probably actually helps the Brewers just because Peralta can be prone to give up some dingers at times. So I think that probably helps him. His home run per 9 is about 1.5, so should drag that down. All right, next game. You know what? I'll actually change this. Tigers at the Cubs. We need to know who's pitching for the Tigers. There's no actual official pitcher listed, so I don't want to make any decisions until that happens. That said, we saw the Cubs were like -160 something favorites yesterday and got smacked around. Justin Steele hasn't been great at home. I mean, he's 3-5 on the year. He is very hittable. So I would wait to see who the Tigers are actually rolling out, but if it's someone halfway decent, Tigers at +170 is a pretty good value. If we look at their batting splits over the last 14 and 7 days, they've been getting the lefties. They got a better, runners in scoring position average than the Cubs, so everything kind of works in their favor here. I'm not opposed to it. The splits for Steele are pretty good. 141 average to lefties, 234 to righties. So like I said, it really just depends on who is pitching for the Tigers. All right, A's at the Rays. Jeffrey Springs, Osvaldo Bido. Bido's been really good. His last 3 games, he's given up 1 earned run, but in his last 2, he hasn't given up any, and he faced the Giants and the Blue Jays. So not crazy good offenses, but probably better than the Rays. And then prior to that, 2 earned runs versus the Dodgers at home. So he has pitched really well at home. Jeffrey Springs has pitched very well as well. So he's given up 1 earned run against Baltimore and the Diamondbacks in his most previous 2 games. So he won't go very far, though. Springs is only going to go 4, maybe 5 innings, whereas Bido, he's got some endurance, so he can go for quite a while. So I do like a low-scoring game. The 7.5. Yeah, I don't want to do an over-under in this one, but splits for Springs. Springs does struggle against right-handers, giving up a 327 average, whereas Bido is sitting sub-200 against lefties and basically right around 200 against righties. So I like his splits a lot. This is just more, I think the A's avoid the sweep at home. Or they should win one, I should say, or two. I think this is a 4-game series, so I think they win this game. It's really where I'm getting at. Plus money. They do have the better pitcher on the mound. We just need the offense to show up a little bit. All right, next game, Paul Skeens Day. This is not going to be a popular one, but I'm going Reds. I don't know if you've seen the Pirates, but the last 2 days they've faced lefties, haven't been able to hit them. Absolutely, we're struggling against Haney. It was ridiculous. So Skeens has been good, but that said, he's given up at least 2 earned runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. So I don't think he blanks the Reds. I think he gets a lot of strikeouts, but I think he should give up a few runs. I just don't trust this Pirates offense, really, is what it comes down to. And if we look at Lodolo, he's pitched really well against Pittsburgh. Obviously, this is a divisional matchup, so they've seen each other a decent amount. This might be, I think this is the Reds' first time seeing Skeens, though, so that could factor in. But I just can't pay minus 148 for a Pirates offense that they're very much like the Mariners. I don't know if they're going to score 8 or 0. So it's just more of a value play on the Reds. We kind of see when their bats start heating up. Again, it's a right-handed pitcher, so that kind of works in their favor. Only throws 39% fastball, so you'd really, for the Reds, you want to see that. You really want to see that in like the 50+% range. That's when I start to feel really confident about them. So a little low, but like I said, value play here. I don't know if I'll actually, will this make it onto the card? I don't know. Probably. All right, Angels at the Blue Jays. Griffin Canning, Jake Bloss. Jake Bloss was on Houston, got traded, and so now he is on Toronto. Hasn't pitched in a game since July 23rd. Going up against Griffin Canning, who is horrendous. So you've got 2 really bad pitchers. I like the Blue Jays here. I like their offense, but ultimately I just love runs. So give me the over in this game. Pretty easy one there. All right, Astros at the Orioles. Corbin Burns going up against Spencer Arrighetti. Not a huge Arrighetti fan. That said, Corbin Burns' last outing versus Boston got shellacked. 4 innings, 10 hits, 8 earned runs. Now, the big thing for Burns, very susceptible to lefties. Over the last 30 days, he's got a pretty elevated average versus a season average. So one thing Boston has is some pretty good hitting lefties. Houston doesn't. They have 2 lefties in their lineup, but you can kind of say the same thing for Arrighetti. He has been hit by lefties. Baltimore's probably only going to bring, 7 today, just 7. So that gives him the edge for sure. Anyway, I like the pitch splits for the Astros. Doesn't look good for Arrighetti. If we look over the last 30 days, Baltimore 6th in the fastball, 1st in the curveball. Could Burns get hit up? Yeah, you could look at the over. I just don't necessarily trust the Astros to score a ton of runs. Maybe a little jaded after yesterday, but we kind of seen that in their last away series versus Tampa Bay. They ended up winning games, but they were very, very low scoring. So I like the O's in this game. Got to trust their ace to get the job done. Just hope the Orioles bullpen doesn't suck. All right, Phillies at the Braves. I went back and forth on this one. This is I could see this going either way. Christopher Sanchez, very hittable. When I look at the splits, though, last week Atlanta hasn't really crushed lefties. That said, we saw them face Robbie Ray in San Francisco, and they absolutely smacked him around the yard, and I think he was done in 2 innings. So that could be a very similar situation today. Christopher Sanchez just up and down. He started off the season hot as could be. Then he got real cold, and now he's kind of, hit or miss. He had a really good last game against the Nats, pitched a complete game. So will he be a little fatigued from that? We'll see. Going up against Spencer Schwellenbach. I'm not a huge Schwellenbach fan. I know a lot of people are. I just feel like the Phillies hit him around today, but I think you could make a case for either way here. The only thing that leads me to believe that is Schwellenbach doesn't have a fantastic average against lefties. So he's given up about a 260 average to lefties. His strikeout rate is significantly lower to lefties. And like I said, there's a few Phillies on this lineup that can do some damage against you from the left-handed side. That said, he pitches pretty well against righties, about a 211 average. His strikeout rate goes from 20% from lefties to 30, almost 36% to righties. So you could go either way on this one. But I think I'm going to go back to the Phillies here. I just that Braves offense, I mean, they're both kind of anemic offenses, but I'm going to go with Philly. All right, last game on the card, Padres and the Mets. Dylan Cease going up against Luis Severino. I'm a little shocked this is 7.5. I know we've got a little bit of a wind blowing in. That said, Cease did face the Mets in June in New York, and he got rocked. I remember that one. That was, he had bases loaded in the first through like a wild pitch. That's how they got their first one, hit like a double. So he ended up giving up 4 of those 7 right in the first. Going up against Luis Severino. Severino not nearly as good away as he is at home. If we look at the pitch splits for these two guys, they don't look good. They're quite bad, actually. So I like a lot of runs in this game. I like the Padres team total. You could even look at the Mets team total, but yeah, I think there's runs despite the little bit of wind blowing in. All right, let's get to the best bets today. So first thing we're going with, Cleveland, New York, going right back to the well. I think there's a good chance the Yankees could just shell Williams, just like they did yesterday. Or I also think there's a chance that Cleveland should score some runs off Garrett Cole. Like we should see them score more than 1 or 2 runs. Yankees race to 4. I'm going to run that right back to it. Plus money. Get out of here. 100%. Athletics money line. I just think Beto has a day. I think Springs does okay. We just should see a little bit more Oakland offense today. So I like them to bounce back and get the win. Give me the Orioles race to 3 at -120. It's just really good value to fade Arrighetti and just hope that Burns has his usual outing. I was going to do the race to 4. It's at plus money. I think I'm just going to stick to the 3 just in case. And then LA, Toronto, we already talked about this. The Angels and the Blue Jays over 8.5. I just love runs. It's Canning and Bloss. Like, it's just tailor-made. I'm hoping this hits really early. And then give me Mets and San Diego over 7.5 at -105. There's too much value. Too much value here. I want to see the Padres just have an absolute pop-off game after getting destroyed yesterday. So I love that spot for them. Parlays we're taking today. We're going to do Colorado and Washington over 8. So Quantrill and Corbin should give up runs. And then we're going to do LA, Toronto over 8. So those are both alt lines, obviously. And then we're going to do Cleveland team total over 2.5. So they got to get 3 runs in that game. That's at plus 300. Next one's going to be a Yankees -1, Brewers money line, San Diego team total over 3.5. That's at plus 452. Then we're going to do Baltimore, Colorado, and Oakland. That's a fun one. Plus 589, and then we're going to do a pitcher prop. So the pitcher prop is going to be Spencer Arrighetti under 5.5 Ks, Miles Mikolas under 4.5 Ks, Gavin Williams under 5.5 Ks. So combine those 3, plus 421. And then our fun parlay, Yankees, Orioles, Brewers, Padres, plus 656. I didn't do an upset parlay today just because we already have some on the card, but if I was to do it, it would just be the 3 I have here. So it would be Reds, Rockies, and A's. So not sure what that is. I guess we can kind of just throw that in there. So Reds, Rockies, and the A's. Not sure what that is. I'll figure it out later, but that would be my upset parlay today. Nerfies I like, Tampa Bay and Oakland, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. So only 2 I really like on the card today. Other leans I considered, Detroit and Chicago over 8. Still might do that. Like I said, just need to see who the pitcher actually is for Detroit. Lodolo under earned runs. So that's something I was looking at. Like I said, the Rockies first 5 over 1.5. I remember that's at like -160. Milwaukee team total, I believe, is 3.5 or 4. It's 4.5, but it's plus money if you think they're going to get some runs, which I do. Colorado team total is at 4.5. Philly team total, I believe, is at 3.5. So kind of like that, but it was like -135. So maybe we should. Nah, we'll keep that off. So yeah, I like the card the way we got it. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Catch you guys tomorrow.